Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Learn English with Football YouTube live show. How are you guys doing? And as always, we've got two fantastic guests, Noop and Pan. How are you guys doing?
Good evening. Great.
Fine.
Good.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. We were supposed to have Clive on as well, but unfortunately, he has got some sort of work emergency. So it's going to be just the three of us. Unless there is a regular watching that would like to come on, which we can make it happen. So, for example, Leontes, if you are watching right now, you could always come on. So, Noop, obviously, a future doctor studying medicine at university in Prague. This is Noop's Instagram. In case any of you need medical assistance.
Not yet, but yeah, definitely. Thanks for that.
I don't know. Like you could in the future you could become a freelance doctor, right? So it's good to start your following.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
So if people want to add Noop, you never know. You know, doctors are always handy.
Definitely.
And so are teachers, obviously, and one of them is Pan. Pan is an English teacher from the UK, but living in Finland. This is Pan's website. Yep. So this
no
is
medical
where...
advice, though. Sorry, I can't help you with medical emergencies.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you can help with everything else. I suppose.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Deal.
Okay, well, as always, we are here to talk about football, namely the Premier League. So a lot happened again, as always. But as always, I'm going to start by asking you what matches you guys have seen. So, Noop.
I just watched the Arsenal game versus Watford in the Premier League, and then I did watch Barcelona game for La Liga, and that's it.
Okay. I think it's your exam period, so I don't blame you. I know
every week is an exam period, so yeah.
So I know you are a very busy student, of course. So understandably, you only watch the Arsenal game, but I think a lot happened there, so there's plenty to discuss. What about you, Pan?
I watched Leeds play Leicester in the early kickoff on Saturday, then the late one, Liverpool West Ham. I missed Arsenal Watford, but then I watched the Manchester derby. But the week's not over. There are still games, right? There's like Tottenham tonight. There's a couple more later in the week.
Yeah.
Good week. I like these bonus games. They keep the weekdays interesting.
As a fantasy Premier League player or manager, as they call it, we call it a double game week.
Yeah. You have to cash in.
Double game week. Yeah. You have to buy the players that play 2 matches and things like that.
And then they always play terribly or get sent off or something, and you're like, oh, I knew I shouldn't have bothered.
Exactly, and that's what's happening to me right now. For example, I bought Weghorst from Burnley, who seemed amazing in the previous matches, and now his team lost 4-0, something like that. So at home to Chelsea. So. And I don't hold any hopes for Son, because every single time I don't have him, he's amazing. He scores like 2 or 3 goals. And when I buy him, like now, he's going to underperform. So tonight, I think Tottenham are playing
Everton.
So Everton are in a terrible form, but I wouldn't be surprised if they manage to beat Spurs. Just because of me buying Son. Yeah. Okay, so I have seen the Burnley-Chelsea match. When I say I have seen the whole match, sometimes it's just, let's say, 70, 80 minutes or 60 minutes. I was doing other things at the same time, yeah? And then I saw the Liverpool-West Ham match. Of course, the Arsenal-Watford match, except the last 30 minutes, which I think I made a fantastic choice of not watching the last 30 minutes. Then I watched the highlights from the Aston Villa-Southampton match because someone had recommended it to me. And I did watch the Manchester derby too, most of it anyway. So now let's talk about our heroes of the week. So let's start with Pan this time.
Stupid one for me in a way, because I'm going to pick the former Leeds United manager, the guy who Leeds United recently sacked. I'll pick Marcelo Bielsa, which is a weird choice because he has no connection to Leeds United anymore. He's not officially employed by them, and he has nothing to do with the Premier League. But he's definitely my hero of the week, because after 3.5 years, Leeds United parted company, they said, with him. But he's left a long legacy at Leeds. He achieved a lot on the pitch, but I would say he achieved more off the pitch in terms of improving the culture at Leeds, making the team and the fans and the city believe again and appreciate football like for the joy that it is, like the spectacle of the beautiful game, instead of thinking of it as like this horrible like business. So he's made football fun again for me and for many, like hundreds of thousands of other Leeds fans. So even without him, like his spirit lives on in the team and the club and the city for sure. So my hero of the week was the sacked Leeds manager.
Yeah, and you said that Leeds United parted company with Marcelo Bielsa. I'm sorry if I'm misspelling his name, by the way. It might be.
No, perfect.
Oh, it's okay. It's correct. Fine.
Okay.
So if you part company with someone, that means that you kind of go in different directions. Yeah. So you stop working together in this case. But I don't think it necessarily means that there are any grudges held, or it's not like when you fire someone and then want to talk to. They don't want to talk to each other anymore. Or what do you think, Pan? How is it?
Well, it's interesting. Leeds United, in their official announcement, used Leeds United have parted company with Marcelo Bielsa because it's a nicer way to say the truth. And the truth was that they sacked him. They said the results weren't good enough.
Yeah. But
so
the way
like,
you said it, so this phrase, it
yeah,
doesn't,
for sure. It's a tactful
nice
phrase. Yeah.
It's a nice way to put it. It's a tactful phrase. Mm-hmm. And you started this nice speech. What could we call it? Almost ode, right? Like you were praising Marcelo Bielsa by saying it's a bit weird and whatnot. But to be honest, I was expecting you to say something like that. And believe it or not, you might not believe me, but I have prepared Marcelo Bielsa as one of my names for the hero of the week. Exactly for the reason you've just mentioned, because it just makes sense, because he has done so much good for Leeds United, obviously. Just to remind everyone, Pan is a massive Leeds United fan. That's why we have invited him today to talk about Marcelo Bielsa, who was sacked prior to this match, to this weekend match, which was the first match of the new manager,
Jesse Marsh, American
Jesse
guy.
Marsh.
Jesse Marsh.
I have some questions about him as well. Maybe we should let Noop get involved a little bit. So Noop, what do you think? Is this a good choice for Leeds United to sack a manager that did so much for this club?
I think so. I mean, because I don't think you should put the manager or anyone who has had a big influence in the club on top of the club, because at the end of the day, the club matters. And I think it's one of the things that Arsenal should have had done with Wenger, in my opinion. But yeah, they just made him longer. So I think Leeds did a fantastic decision, because I mean, 6 games and no wins, no points taken. So yeah, I think it was a fair decision.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be good for him and his legacy. This is exactly it, because he was sacked in the right moment. With Arsene Wenger, if Arsene Wenger had been sacked, let's say 5 years before he was sacked, it might have been a bit different as well. But when he was getting sacked, perhaps he didn't get as much credit as he would have deserved. But he just overstayed his welcome at Arsenal. I know it sounds terrible, but it's the way it is. So Perhaps that's the positive for Marcelo Bielsa. He's a legend at Leeds. The fans are still singing his name. Am I right? Did they sing his name?
Yeah.
In this match,
yeah, against Leicester. Yeah. Which is weird for the new guy, right? That's a bit awkward. Like somebody singing about their old ex-girlfriend. Like the new girlfriend won't be happy. But that's how it is when you have a lover like Marcelo Bielsa. It's difficult to move on.
Nah, he was.
But can I ask you guys, from an Arsenal point of view, how do you feel about like the Wenger thing? Do you feel like he lost something of his legacy there that it should have ended early? And also, who's to blame? Is Wenger to blame? Is the board to blame? Like,
I don't blame Wenger.
I think it's.
No, go on.
I feel like it's 50-50. Like I think Wenger, he himself, he was way too committed. He was way too emotional towards the club. He was too adamant. He was a manager, but then he behaved much more than a manager. I wish he stayed at Arsenal, but at a different position. But I think at one point it was getting quite toxic, and there was just no way out.
Yeah, I agree with Noop. Although I would say that it's less his fault. I mean, you can't blame him. He was getting on a bit as well. It's a club he just invested so much in, and I'm not talking about money, but time and energy, and he just dedicated his entire life to it, pretty well, a large portion of his life to it. So I don't think we can blame him for wanting to stay there and for thinking that the work wasn't finished, right? So for me, it's more about the board. It wasn't ideal at that point. And you are right, Noop, that he had maybe a lot of influence there, so it was almost unsackable as well. So it was it was complicated, let's put it that way. But it wasn't nice that he was almost forced out by the fans, which is just shouldn't have happened, really. Tarnished his legacy a little bit.
That didn't happen. It's still quite the opposite at Leeds, to be honest. Like it was quite a shock, even though people kind of suspect this might happen because there had been, reports about Leeds talking to other managers and stuff. And also the team seemed like the whole season's been quite disastrous, to be honest with you. Like there have probably been 2.5 games where the team has performed like they did in the previous season. So that there have been some issues with the club. And one thing about Marcelo Bielsa is he stays true to his values, and he says famously, like, plan B is to do plan A better. So there was no way of kind of breaking the cycle of these poor performances and conceding goals early and having games finished after 30 minutes, basically, because he believed that eventually this would click and everything would fall into place. But it hadn't happened by game 27 or something, 26. So I guess the board decided that it probably won't happen in time. Like, they can't risk it. The Premier League's too valuable.
Yeah. But you wouldn't rule out him coming back at some point in the future, would you?
But I know a bit about him and like how carefully he considers like job opportunities. Like there's a very interesting documentary about this, about Leeds and Marcelo Bielsa, and they talk about when they managed to get him to hire they hired him and they got him to manage the club. They made contact with him and left a message to see if he would be interested in hearing more about the project. And he didn't reply for like 3 days or something. And he replied and said, "Yes, I've watched the last 26 games of Leeds United and analysed them carefully, and I'm willing to talk to you if you come to Buenos Aires or somewhere in Argentina, wherever he was." Like, he's that careful and committed to everything that I don't know. I can't imagine him coming back. I'm sure it would be nice for the fans to see him again, but I don't think he would rejoin the club. I don't know if he will take another job anytime soon. He tends to take a break after like intense projects. And also, he's getting on a bit himself. Like, I don't know what he will do. Wherever he goes, he will be loved, though. Like, there's a he used to manage the Chilean national team, and there's a saying in Chile, like I read about, and they say like, when Bielsa leaves, you become a widow of Bielsa. We're all widows of Bielsa, and you have this like feeling like you miss him. Like, honestly, like it sounds stupid, right? Because it's just a football manager, it's just a boss, right? Like, but there's something about him where he's gone, everywhere he's gone, he's left this good feeling, positive memories, and he's left a place better than he found it.
Well, I bet I bet there are a lot of managers who would envy him this, like maybe Jose Mourinho or other managers. So I mean, it's fantastic. It's incredible. Kudos to him for that. You said Bielsa said, "I'm willing to talk to you if you come." So if you are willing to do something, then you are saying that you are sort of able to do it. Yeah, you are happy to do it. Let's say. Very nice phrase, to be willing to do something. Okay. Right. Nrup, your hero of the week.
It has to be Ødegaard, Martin Ødegaard.
I knew you would pick someone from Arsenal. Like it was, it was a guarantee.
I was thinking of Kevin De Bruyne, but then it wasn't Heroic. Like I think Mahrez had much better performance than him. But yeah, I think I would go for Martin Ødegaard. He has been just Arsenal has been right around him. He's not carrying the club. He's just making the club dance around him. He's really a wonderful player to watch, especially in the final third. His touches, the way he creates the game, wow.
Do you know what? I love this phrase. He's making his club dance around him. It's so cool. First of all, it's some sort of a metaphor, we could say. So that's one thing we could say. It's a bit of like figurative language here. So it's obviously, we're not talking about literal dancing. It's not like he's Martin Ødegaard, the Norwegian captain. It's not like he's dancing tango or what's the word?
Salsa?
Salsa or something. No, it's a metaphor. Yeah? It means he's the focal point. He's the playmaker. Yeah, and everything kind of falls into place around him. Also. You can see that the verb to make, if it's used in this sort of way, it's followed by infinitive without to, which sometimes English learners get wrong. You make someone do something. Yeah, it has the meaning of force someone to do something, and also dance. Is the British English way of it's a British English pronunciation. Dance. Americans say dance. I say Americans because we need to talk about Americans. We will have to talk about Americans soon because Leeds United have a new manager who is American. So I wonder if the Leeds United players are going to dance or dance on the pitch.
Well, interesting. In the north of England, where Leeds is where I'm from, people will almost definitely say dance with an a more than a
there
r.
You go.
So we for sure we'll be dancing.
Yeah. Dancing, yeah, that's the what do you call it? The vowel split, the midline split. There's a word for it,
Something
right?
like,
Bath.
Yeah.
The Bath. I think it's called the Bath split or something. Yeah. Anyway, let's go into that. Wonderful. Ødegaard was fantastic. You said you hadn't seen.
No, I didn't see this one.
Yeah.
I saw the highlights, and he's a menace, right? Ødegaard, like he's really he's dangerous. Like
I didn't expect. Honestly, it's just he gradually keeps getting better and better, and it's like he's amazing, man. He's everywhere, and he just chooses the right passes. So start speaking like someone from Leeds now. Yeah, it's better. Definitely. So yeah, the 1-2s is really good. Yeah.
Sorry, how about Smith Rowe? How do you rate how do you compare the two?
Smith Rowe is Nrup, I'll let you speak.
Well, I think I see Smith Rowe more of a winger than a central midfielder or like in the center area, because Ødegaard, he can go a bit behind the ball towards the pivot area. He can be shifting between the cam position and the centre mid position, whereas Smith Rowe, I would say you can even make him as a false striker. At one point, he's fast. He has quick impact.
He seems to have more goal threat to him as well, right?
Yeah.
He seems to be quite clinical in front of the goal, more than Ødegaard. Ødegaard is more of a passer, and distributor. Although he did score a fantastic goal this time. But Ødegaard is brilliant at all these 1-2s, 1-2s. How do we oh, it's going to be tough. 1-2s. Yeah, 1-2s. So a 1-2, it's like a move in football when you pass the ball to someone and then the player that you pass the ball to quickly passes the ball back to you. Yeah. So it's like a triangle, sort of. It's like a triangle kind of move, and it can be quite effective a way of breaking down defense. Yeah. Okay. So Martin Ødegaard, good choice. And let's see who I have left. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna pick Miguel Arteta, the Arsenal manager. Not only for obviously helping the team win because of being the manager and choosing the right tactic, but he also has an assist to his name now. As a manager, how is that even possible? Yeah, well, what happened was that the ball went out of play. Arteta quickly picked it up, as a good ball boy would do, and passed it immediately. I think it was to Saka, who made a throw-in, and it was like a quick play, and it led to a goal. So Arteta has a pre-assist. No,
but there's some controversy about this because he was outside his technical area. Like I read about it today because I didn't see it at the time. I read about it, and
really?
The fourth official said to him, like, you really shouldn't be allowed to do that because managers shouldn't leave their technical area. Like, interesting. I can imagine Watford fans being annoyed about that. Like, I'm sure there's nothing in the rules about it either. Like,
that's a fair point. It's the first time I hear this. Roop, did you know? Did you know there's controversy?
Yeah, I was aware of that. Yeah, but
okay.
Look, I just find it against the spirit of the game. But at the same time, if Arteta was passionate about it, so if you put passion over the spirit, come on, the game is about passion, So yeah, go for it.
Well, it would honestly might have been even worse if it had been disallowed. Like, can you imagine the backlash from the Arsenal supporters and from the Arsenal players? I don't know. Well, we could compare it to that situation. What was it? The Martinelli situation, when Martinelli was sent off for when there was a throw-in and Martinelli pushed the guy that was taking the throw-in, and then the referee gave an advantage for that. It was a foul throw. The referee gave an advantage, and 5 seconds later, the same player, Martinelli, fouls. I think it was maybe even the same guy or another guy, and he got sent off for receiving 2 yellow cards for those 2 offenses, which was something that shouldn't have happened either. It was not it was against the rules even. I mean, these things happen. I understand why it's a bit controversial, but I don't think. There are worse things than this, in my opinion.
For sure.
Right. So for me, it's Miguel Arteta. Now, let's go for the villains of the week. You guys who are watching this, give us your heroes of the week and villains of the week in the comments if you want. And even if you're not watching this live, you can do that after the video is published if you want. So, match week villain. Sorry, it's pronounced villain. I say villain. Villain. The sound. Okay. So, who do we start with? Nope.
Harry Maguire.
Come on. I have this guy. You have to pick someone else now. All right.
The usual suspects. So, yeah. This time it was, another low, yellow card, 4 goals.
He deflected a shot into his own net. It was almost an own goal. It wouldn't have been a goal had it not been for his touch, for sure. So that as well. Yeah, Harry Maguire was so bad that it also made Noop freeze now. Noop, are you back? Yeah. Are you muted, mate? You're muted. You're muted. You have to unmute your... Yeah. yeah, it's the connection is a bit iffy right now. So, just like Harry Maguire's performance was. So let's move on to.
Can have this effect. Yeah, it's the Maguire effect.
Yeah. Pan, who do you have?
Well, I don't know. To be the most of the Man United squad, to be honest, like Leeds United are in a terrible position this season, and they've lost many games by many goals. But one thing you could never say about them is like they never stopped trying, and they never looked really hopeless and helpless, and like they'd given up. And I saw Roy Keane going mad yesterday. You can find clips of him online going red in the face, and he's shouting like, the worst thing you can say is they gave up. Shame on them. They stopped trying, and it's bad, right? Like when you have a tough day at work, you can't just give up. Like especially when 60,000 people pay money to come and watch you. And you represent a club. You wear a club's badge. You represent that club, and it's quite shameful, right?
I have seen a newspaper headline saying that United threw in the towel, which is a nice idiom meaning to give up. Yeah. So if you throw in the towel, so it's throw in the towel, isn't it? Throw in the towel. I think, does this come from boxing?
Yes,
it does, doesn't it? It's. Hang on, I'm just wrote the twice. There you go, guys. United threw in the towel, meaning they gave up. In the first half, they started off quite well. I was actually messaging Leontes, our regular on this show, and I was saying, you're playing quite well. I was messaging him during halftime. They were already losing by 1 goal, but I thought the performance wasn't too bad. But then in the second half, they crumbled. Yeah, it went from bad to worse. Maguire's performance didn't help, of course. So yes. Now, who is my villain of the week? So I can't pick a world leader, unfortunately. So. Can't pick Maguire twice, can I? I guess I'm going to have to go for Ronaldo again. He is injured, so that doesn't seem like a fair thing to do. That's at least what Ragnik said. But there are a lot of rumors doing rounds that he's not injured, and that Ragnik apparently chose not to play him in the starting 11. Ronaldo felt humiliated, got upset, didn't even travel with the team, wasn't at the hotel, and he wasn't at the game even, apparently, from what I heard. So, and this comes from some insider information too. So I don't know, but it's just Ronaldo he's amazing. He's a legend of the game, but he's a bit of a sore loser, isn't he? He doesn't.
Yeah, it's not. It's not a team player for sure. But maybe you don't get to this kind of level of performance and achievement by being a team player. I don't know. I'm a bit.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. That's a fair point, because you need players who hate losing, right? Players who can't stand losing. Then you have the right mentality. But when things are not happening for you, it's like kind of like Mourinho, right? Mourinho is amazing when things are going well, but when things are not going well, he can be toxic. And I feel like Ronaldo's toxicity is palpable. Yeah. So, right. We gave a lot of stick to Manchester United. We all chose Manchester United's players, right? So if you give a lot of stick to someone, let me just write it down. It means you criticize. Yeah, you criticize someone. So it's another idiom. Trying to multitask here. I hope I didn't misspell it. We gave a lot of stick to United players. Of course I did. I misspelled it. United players. Okay. So sorry about played. It wasn't supposed to be there. Right. Now, so where do we start? So let's deal with Nope, your connection is fine.
Yeah. Can
Okay.
you hear me well?
Yeah.
Perfect.
So Arsenal scored some brilliant goals in this game against Watford. It was a home game. Watford are in the relegation zone, not the best team. But despite that, Arsenal did really well in that game.
Yes, I would say yes, but then those 2 goals, for me, it's a no. I mean, come on. 2 goals scored by a relegation battling team. Come on, that too against a fourth position Arsenal,
Yeah.
which it just shows how much we depend on one player from our back four. Because okay, at one point you were depending too much on Ramsdale. He was saving lots of games, but then everyone has a limit. I think Ramsdale has been a bit below his peak these days, and with Tomiyasu being out and Cedric, it just shows our depth with our defense. And yeah, I mean, I really, those 2 goals were really stupid.
So
They
basically,
were
what
really
happened
stupid.
is, just put it in some context. So Arsenal won the game 3-2, and
Yeah.
Noop is unhappy
I'm
about
not
the fact that
satisfied.
Noop
not
is not
satisfied.
happy. He's unhappy about the fact that Arsenal didn't keep a clean sheet. Yeah. so-
Yeah, because
It's not good
I mean,
enough, right?
with
No,
3 games in
no.
our hand, fourth
Yeah.
position, I think we deserve to criticize Arsenal a bit more now, because at the beginning of the season, okay, like there were conditions, there were circumstances where Arsenal were battling the relegation position, and then lots of players were injured, COVID, blah blah, red cards. That time, okay, I was like, okay, all right, situation is bad. Let's not criticize Arsenal. But at this moment, I would like to talk about our defensive woes, because when you at one point, when we'll be having less goal differences than other teams, and we'll be losing the number fourth position, it will be really painful.
Pan, you said you had seen the highlights, right?
Mm.
Yeah. So did you like the goals that
Yeah, like
the Gunners scored?
Yeah. In fact, there were lots of good goals in the whole game. But it's interesting, Rupp's furious that Watford managed to score twice. One of them was
yeah.
like
I think
top goal
he's
of the
about.
season.
I think he's about to have a difficult exam. I think that must be it.
Maybe.
Newcastle very high standards.
But yeah, I mean, at this point, I would like to have that.
All right.
But Watford's first goal was like an overhead kick. Like that's for sure. It's in goal.
was so
It's one of
good.
the contenders for goal of the season already.
Definitely.
So it happens sometimes, Rup, buddy. Like don't worry. Like sometimes you concede from overhead
but
kicks.
then-
There's nothing you can do.
I mean, White, come on. White, he should have man-marked him properly.
Yeah, but
Yeah, Ben
it
White's a
was
very
a
good
brilliant
player.
goal rather than a mistake.
it was.
Come on.
Yeah.
No, it was. I mean, yeah, it could have been in, but then come on, like there was a big gap, and also the second goal, come on, by Sissoko, Tottenham player, come on.
Oh, that's
That's the last thing. That's the last
the
thing we
problem.
should have
That's the
done.
problem. Yeah.
That I understand. That one. Fair enough. That one.
Well, what about the Arsenal goals, Pan? Did you enjoy them too?
Yeah, very nice, very old school, like Wenger Arsenal for me in a way, like bing, bing, bing,
Vintage.
bing, bing, goal, like right, like
Exactly.
you see,
Wenger-
like when you have these good managers, good leaders, they leave like their DNA or something. Like,
Yeah.
it seemed like.
Yeah.
Do you know
classic
what?
Arsenal.
I would even use this word, Wenger-esque. It's a nice suffix esque, which can be quite creative. How do we explain this? It just basically means that it looked like the goals that Arsenal used to score under Arsene Wenger as the manager. So Wenger-esque, similar to the kind of goals that Arsenal used to score. Yeah. Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
in the
Team
style
goal.
of, right? Yeah.
In the style of.
In Wenger style, kind of in Wenger style right, for me. Like
Don't know why.
it's lots of good goals.
Reminds me of Gangnam Style. What was the song? Oppa Gangnam Style. Do you guys remember it?
Yeah.
But yeah,
When did that go?
I was in Prague at that time. I remember. I think.
Wow.
Like, that'd be 2010. I think.
Partying in one of the Prague clubs, I bet.
Good memories. Good memories.
Oppa Gangnam Style. Yeah, that was like, was it a Korean rapper or something like that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
South
it was.
Korean.
Yeah.
K-pop stuff.
Anyway, sorry for this tangent. Yeah, very good team goals, brilliant finishes as well, very clinical. No chance for the keeper, no chance for defense really, because it was just so well. What's the expression? Worked out or
Well
something?
worked, yeah, really well
Well
worked
worked, yeah.
goals. Yeah.
Well worked goals, exactly.
Yeah.
So nice. All the flicks, like so sleek. Slick.
It's like
Very slick.
very slick football. Yeah.
Yeah, slick football, and our captain Alexander Lacazette was involved as well. Nice back heels as well. There were like a few back heels and rope. Yeah,
Yeah.
come on, give us something, something positive.
I mean, it's what Alexander Lacazette always does. I mean, I like him. He's an impactful player, but then, when we need him the most, sometimes he messes it up. He
Here we
should
go.
play. Come on, like I like him as a number 10, not as a number 9. But then when we play him as a number 9, come on.
It seems
I
like
would
you
really
can
like
always
him.
put.
I would
Seems
really
like you
like
can
him in
always-
the place of Ødegaard.
Seems
Yeah,
like you
sorry.
can always put a negative spin on things today, Noop.
Yeah,
But
today I have to.
Well, you used a very nice phrase. He's an impactful player. An impactful player, basically, it means he influences the game a lot. He has a lot of impact on the pitch and on the team, on the Arsenal team. And I agree with you. And I hope he doesn't go in summer, because it looks like he will be leaving. We are running down his contract, I think.
Yeah. I mean, let's see.
Is he out of
I
contract
think-
in summer?
Yeah, he is. He'll be a free
He's on
agent, and
He's on high wages. That's the problem, yeah. So,
yeah.
but,
And the thing
but
is, he's inconsistent, and also his position in the squad. I mean, Arteta, he wants to have a really high quality striker. He's planning to cash in some really high quality striker, probably a midfielder as well in summer. And for someone with Lacazette's wages, I don't think. I mean, I would like him to have 1-year contract maybe, but yeah.
So for Noop, Lacazette, lack of hope. Honestly, I would keep him. Like, I disagree with you. I think he deserved for this season's performances, he deserves to be given a new contract, even if it's like a 1-year extension or something like that. And he deserves to be on the money. He's the captain. He's a senior player as well, and we don't have enough of those, Noop. After what happened with Aubameyang, I think there is a chance. Like with Aubameyang being still in the team, there would be no chance. But because of this circumstance, I think there is still a chance. I would like to think there is still a chance of keeping him. Would you
Could be,
take
yeah.
him at Leeds? Because he's free now. So would you take him at Leeds, Pam?
Well, we need to see which division we're in next season before we can commit to buying any
Yeah.
players. So,
Yeah. Are you
seriously? Like,
It was one of my. It's one of my questions. It was
Yeah.
a genuine question for you, Pam. Kudos to you for coming, despite losing, obviously. I wanted to ask you about the new manager, but also about whether you're worried that you might get relegated this season.
for sure, it's a possibility. Like, nobody's safe until they're mathematically safe. And Leeds have been in terrible form, not performing well. Like I said, the whole season they've been underperforming. Based on the performance of this last game against Leicester, like I don't know if you're a big stats guy, but like the XG, the expected goals, was in the favour of Leeds. I think it was like 2 to 0.3. So Leicester had 0.3, Leeds had 2, which is great. But if XG counted, that would be great, right? Unfortunately, they don't count fake, like theoretical goals. But either way, like the performance looked good, and a team that with the quality of players that Leeds has performing like that, actually showing their quality and showing their character and playing well, should be fine. Like in my opinion. However, it's about keeping up those performances. And at the end of the season, unfortunately, they don't count good performances. They count the points on the board.
Yeah.
So it comes down to that. Like, if Leeds can win the games that they need to win, the winnable games, then they... could be fine. They should be fine. A big sign is, for example, when teams get relegated, often they sell some players, right? Because they don't have the Premier League TV money anymore. That's how it is. And Leeds could probably sell 200 million, like arguably, of players, like if they absolutely had to, which is a sign that the team shouldn't be relegated. You should, if you have players of that amount of value, you should be performing better than they're doing, and that's absolutely the case. But it's not always the case that more higher value squad or more money spent necessarily means performance. Because I saw in the Manchester derby,
I just wanted to
over
say
the past 9 years, I think Man City and Man United had spent about the same, 1.2 billion or something, like the same expenditure with drastically different results.
That is true, of course. One thing that kind of worries me, if I were to look at this from Leeds perspective, is the fact that it seems like all the teams that are in the relegation battle seem to be kind of able to beat anyone these days. Like, first of all, let's talk about Newcastle. Newcastle, they are on a great run right now, so I think they are out of it. It looks like it. Mm-hmm. They are in a very comfortable position. Burnley, they lost 4-0 to Chelsea, but I think they are also capable of anything.
Yeah, Watford, they beat Brighton recently. They won a few games unexpectedly, especially from a Leeds point of view, worrying. Yeah,
exactly. Then you have Watford. Yeah, Watford now 2 goals scored at the Emirates, not bad. Then Norwich, maybe. Norwich is the one that will go down, but they're not the worst team either. I don't know. I just feel like it's going to be tough. You have to start getting them points, Pam.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell the guys. But like I said, what's more important to me is that the team performs well, because there are still 11 games left of the season. Leeds have 11 games to play, and you can only play well. You're not in control of everything. But if you keep playing well and doing the right things, you hope that things would fall into place. You would reap the rewards of playing well.
Oh, okay. I wanted to write down you reap the rewards, but I went for this one. There are 11 games left. Yeah. So you might know the word left as the opposite of right. Yeah. So you have left and right hand. Also, left is the past tense of the verb to leave. Yeah. So Marcelo Bielsa left the club. He was kind of sacked. So he left. Let's say it's not really precise, but. Anyway, Ronaldo left, maybe. You could say Ronaldo left the team. He didn't travel with the team. But here it's used in a different way. So if we say there are still 11 games left, it means there are still 11 games to be played, 11 games remaining. Okay? Fantastic. So, Noop. Let's be honest. I know you will probably want to be nice to Pan here, but would you want Leeds in the top division? For me, it's without question. I love the team. I love of all the other teams. This is one of the teams I like watching because of Marcelo Bielsa. But also, it's just they play this kind of crazy football, offensive football. So I like the way they play. So I think it would be a big loss if they got relegated. What do you feel about
I
this?
completely agree with you. I mean, Leeds is really an amazing team, and I don't think they deserve to be in the lower division, because you can just see the quality of the players they have, and like Pan said, the players can go up to 200 million. So I don't think Leeds, they deserve to go to the Championship League. Yeah.
So
But
what
let's
players
see.
Okay. What players are we talking about, Pan? So Rafinha is one of them, yeah?
For sure, right? Yeah. Calvin Phillips, who was England's Player of the Year for 2021, I think. The goalkeeper, actually, Ilan Meslier is 21 or 22. Like, young future talent there. Lots of actually young players who are hot prospects for the future.
You have Patrick Bamford.
Patrick Bamford. I just wanted. Yeah,
if you would like a Premiership striker. Yeah, Rodrigo. Yeah, true.
Junior Firpo. He's good.
Yeah, he hasn't really settled in yet. I would say, like, I don't think they would make a profit on him, but but like some
Actually,
some
like
really
Cresswell as well.
Really, yeah. It's very good. Who else? Robin Koch, Struijk. You'll see more of Pascal Struijk in the future. I think he's a Dutch he has Dutch and Belgian nationality. I'm not sure which team he will play for. I think he still has to decide in the future. But he's a young guy, and he will be he reminds me of Van Dijk at like 19, 20. You'll see more of him in the future, I'm sure. And if Leeds can hang on to him and stay in the division they need to be in to keep all these players, that would be good. But to be honest, in a way, I don't necessarily agree. Or Leeds have to be in the Premier League because the performances will dictate the league that you end up in your league position. Like, it's not as simple as saying, oh, a club like that has to, because it's like saying that Manchester United has to be in the Champions League because it's Manchester United. Like, and you get there by qualifying for it. And at the moment, like, it's not looking super great for Manchester United. Like, realistically, they will they still have some work to do to secure fourth place. And same as Leeds have some work to do to secure their Premier League survival. Yeah. And you only get that by deserving it.
I agree with you, but what my point is, it would be a big loss for the Premier League.
For sure,
so it's a traditional club as well. Like, I would much rather have Leeds in the league than Norwich or Watford. Yeah, like, it's
I feel the same. I feel the same, but it's like part of Bielsa's thing about like the integrity of the sport, and it's about the sport, and it makes it more exciting, right? When they're the ups and downs, you can be relegated. It means the games matter more.
But getting relegated is not. It could mean that it takes you years to get back. Even the Championship is a difficult division, so that's why and as you said, you might start selling the players, and things like that. So don't get relegated if you
well, that's good advice. That's excellent advice.
Yeah. I worked on it. He hasn't really settled in yet. I think you were describing one of your players. Can you remind me what the name is?
Firpo, Junior Firpo. Yeah.
Firpo, yeah. If a player hasn't settled in yet, it means he probably joined not a long time ago, and he needs more time to adapt and to acclimatize and to start feeling more comfortable with the team. All right, very well. Noop, before we ask Pan, who obviously has an insight about this, an American manager. So, do you think are they going to play American football or European football? Yeah.
For the past couple of years, I have been seeing this American wave coming to European football, especially in Italy, and you also have in Germany as well, Canada. Alphonso Davies, and Christian Pulisic.
Yeah, at Chelsea.
And the names go on. And then now you have in Premier League, Arsenal, they have signed an American goalkeeper for the next season. Yeah. And I don't know, maybe
it's a running joke, to be honest with you. Yeah. Like Brits always. I'm not even British myself, but I like to I like to say it too. Basically, it's a running joke. The Americans don't understand football. They even call football soccer. But it looks like this new manager, Pan, doesn't call football soccer, does he?
Well, I was ready to convert, Zdenek. I was ready to start saying we've got a soccer ball match, but it turned out he called it football, so I don't need to change anything.
I think he had no choice.
Also, he mentioned it in his first interview. He said it's hard to replace the old manager, and also especially when somebody comes here and they have a funny accent or something. Like he addressed it. He mentioned it himself in his first interview to show that he's self-aware. He's aware of kind of some prejudices or something. I don't think in a bad way. Just like you said, it's a running joke. Yeah,
it's a running joke. You know what? It could be a prejudice, but I think it's more what we call banter. Let's be honest. It's banter. Banter is like when you sort of it's like using humor in a way that you kind of tease each other, you make fun of each other, you pull each other's leg, you take the piss as well. Right. So he seems quite positive. I think I heard an excerpt from one of these press conferences, and he sounded like positive guy, something I would expect from an American coach, like this motivational speech.
Come on, guys. Yeah,
Come on, guys. Let's. Yeah, we're gonna win this.
Yeah, but also he has like the kind of track record you would expect for a manager to come to the Premier League. He's been with some RB clubs, Leipzig and Salzburg, I think, like Red Bull clubs, which I don't know. I would like to speak to a fan of, like, for example, RB Salzburg, because I heard that they weren't super happy about Red Bull renaming the club, changing the kit, like changing the badge. And that's kind of weird to imagine that your club could be bought by Coca-Cola. Like, could you imagine Arsenal and the Arsenal flag? You could keep the red and the white for sure, but there will be little Coke bottles on the side, and it's suddenly Coca-Cola, Arsenal Coca-Cola, or something like a. You wouldn't like it, right? You would feel that something's taking over your club.
I think there is a football player that wouldn't like it even more, and that's Cristiano Ronaldo. If you remember what he did during the press conference at the Euros, so imagine they did that at United.
Yeah. But in terms of the club, like, I don't know about that, but the style of football that's in the Bundesliga, the Austrian top division, like it's the kind of style that suits very well with how Leeds have been playing for the last 3.5 years. Very vertical, like in terms of getting the ball from the back to the front quickly, attacking in some like fast-moving formations. Like, it's not a huge change, which is necessary because you can't change with 12 games to left in a season. You don't want a manager to come in and totally flip the team on its head and say, okay, we have to play totally differently. So that wouldn't work.
Yeah. I know it's not the exact words you use, but I have simplified it. Yeah. So you were talking about your new manager, your new American manager. Remind me his name again, please.
Jesse Marsh.
Jesse Marsh.
Marsh, yeah.
Marsh, and he's got a good track record. So it means he's been at good clubs. So he's got he's a proven manager. Let's say. Okay. So I'm going to make another terrible joke, but we will see how this pans out. Yeah? But nice. Fingers crossed. I'm going to explain the joke. So to pan out, guys, it's a phrasal verb. Just write the phrasal verb because I don't want to spend much time on this. If something pans out, it develops in a certain way or it happens in some way, yeah? So let's see how this develops. Noop, can Leeds stay this season? Can they stay in the Premier League?
Yeah, I'm positive about it.
Good.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Positive for once. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's positive with Arsenal.
No, just criticism, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Nope. Christian Eriksson played his first game for Brentford and also his first game since his cardiac arrest. So, as a doctor, as a future doctor, tell us, how does that make you feel?
I mean, I'm not really surprised because, I mean, there must have been players in the past who have had, some sort of cardiac issues and whatever, but in the end they always end up playing no matter what division it is. So I don't think it's a big thing. It's just since Christian Eriksson was brought back to Premier League by a Danish manager, that's how he was brought back. But I don't think anyone else would have taken him probably.
That's probably true because it seemed like a huge risk, didn't it, Pan?
Yeah, I wonder like how it affects the club's like insurance or something like I don't know, like seriously like I'm sure you would have problems getting medical insurance, or there would be some difficult contracts to kind of negotiate. Yeah,
you know what?
Nice
it's not
him like a.
Sorry, I interrupted you there. Go on.
No. Well, I'm saying it's nice for him. Like it's good. Could you imagine that your career was taken away from you because you had some medical emergency, like tragic, right? So
Still
it's good that he
young.
can still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I heard a podcast about this, like, and they were talking about the fact that he has to be a little bit brave by the manager to want to have this player in his team, because imagine if he plays this player and then something happens, God forbid, it's kind of on him, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to have that guilt in you, do you? So it is a bit brave, but at the same time, yeah, I mean, what do you think?
But if he's happy to play and he wants to play, and also I assume he's been cleared by whichever his personal doctor, the club doctors, the club legal team, they must feel confident enough that his heart and his body is capable of doing it, and there are some precautions. But probably it's helped everybody actually, because the whole world is more aware of that this can happen, and that the importance of having these defibrillators in the stadiums ready to go. It's probably, like, in a way, a good thing, like for increasing awareness, making people, because it's happened a few times this season where the game has been stopped for a few minutes because of a medical emergency in the stands. Maybe this has been going on for years and I've just never noticed, but you seem to notice it more because it's on people's minds, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And the referees stopping the game, making sure that the physios and the medical teams from the clubs can go into the stands to check the fans. Like, overall positive thing. And
there is also a meme doing rounds where I don't know what exactly happened because I haven't seen the game, but there was some sort of a tussle between I think Christian Eriksson fouled someone, and that player was trying to, like, push him away or something, and was, like, battling on the ground, like wrestling. I think it was almost wrestling until he realized who it was, and then he, like, hugged him. So I want to say that this player's heart was in the right place. It's a funny thing, but I would do the same. Come on, like, he must have been through so much. It's actually quite incredible that he made this comeback, and it frankly lifted Brentford, because finally they managed to win, and they have had a poor run of form recently, and they needed some points as well. So a good win for Brentford. I think Harry Maguire is back. I mean, the Harry Maguire curse is back.
Maguire strikes again.
Yeah. Hopefully, Eriksson will lift the curse as he lifted the spirits at Brentford. He is back. Yeah. Good on Christian. So, what else should we kind of quickly talk about here? Chelsea winning 4-0.
To me, what's interesting compared to a few months ago is that the title race it's back. It's more interesting now, because a few months ago, it looked like, it's over. Like, it's already over in
December was
December.
Like
done. Yeah. Now it's looking like something could happen. At least there's some interest, right? Like,
Absolutely, the title race is back on, for sure. Yeah, I didn't believe it when we had Paul here. I don't know, some 2 or 3 months ago. It seemed like wishful thinking, but after City losing to Spurs, if you lose to Spurs,
it's a bad sign, right?
Yeah, it's a very, very bad sign. Yeah, so. Now, Arsenal, they have 3 games in hand against tough sides. One of them is Liverpool as well.
Liverpool, then we face, I think the next game is Leicester.
And Tottenham as well. Yeah, the derby as well. So it's 3 very, very tough matches. So potentially 9 points. But
no, we face Crystal Palace.
Are you sure? I heard it's Tottenham. Are you sure about this? Because I heard it on a podcast. Are you sure about this?
Like it's not official yet, so I don't see any Tottenham game.
No, because it hasn't been scheduled yet, I think.
Is it?
But if you talk about the games in hand, those that were cancelled, from what I heard, it's 3 tough matches. Yeah. So
it is,
So it has to be. I think it's Tottenham. Yeah. I'm like 99% sure that it's Tottenham. Anyway, it doesn't matter, but it's going to be tough. But Arsenal in a fantastic position. when we're talking about title race, though. So, Pan. So it's between City and Liverpool, right? There's like Chelsea.
Yeah.
You think Chelsea?
I think they have third place secured, but it's a bit too late. Like at the beginning of the season, I thought they could really challenge for it this year, especially when they brought in Lukaku. They spent a whole big suitcase full of money buying Lukaku, and I don't think it's outrageous to say that he's been a bit of a disappointment this year. Like things haven't clicked for him or the club.
A bit of a disappointment. That's an understatement, Pen. You want to hear what Marvin, our regular on the podcast, who supports Chelsea, would have to say about that? Yeah. So.
Yeah. I'm trying to be diplomatic here.
I know.
Give him a chance. But when I saw this, I thought, okay, what was Chelsea's problem last year? They were defensively sound, but they couldn't convert, or they weren't scoring regularly enough. And then they bring in a proven goal scorer, and they have, I think they're the team with the most goals from defenders or something, because they have to rely
midfielders.
on...
It was Jorginho. He was the highest scorer.
I think he just gets penalties all the time, though. Chelsea gets so many penalties, ridiculous. Yeah. And then they get they defend the centre backs get a lot of headers. Thiago, Silva, Rudiger. Yeah.
And he's James, the wing back. He now scored.
Marcus,
he scored 2 goals, or he had 1 goal and 1 assist, and it looks like it really. Yeah, he really is an important player for Chelsea for sure. He was almost the top goal scorer, to be honest with you. Chelsea were defensively sound, which means if you're sound, well, you know what the word sound means, like when you hear something. But here it's used as an adjective. I think it's a bit of a slang, and it means that you're defensively good or solid, let's say. Decent. So we seem to have Happy Hammerette here, who is West Ham fan, and we haven't talked about West Ham yet. So perhaps that's how we end this podcast, this YouTube show, talking about West Ham. So I saw the West Ham game against Liverpool. Did you guys see it?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. Okay, Pan. So what do you think?
Quite a tight game, like 1-0. West Ham had chances too, especially in the first half. Bowen went off injured, which is a bad sign for West Ham. I think I saw today, like it's not a serious injury; they will avoid surgery. But it's scary, right? When West Ham's number 1 goal threat.
He's the top scorer.
Yeah.
And West Ham, they have got every year at West Ham, they have got this kind of award thing when they choose their best player of the season. They call it the Hammer of the Year. Yeah. And almost every single West Ham fan I've talked to recently say that it's going to be Bowen winning this trophy, let's say. Yeah. Declan Rice is very good as well, of course, but Bowen has been incredible. So, and Declan Rice didn't play in this game either. I don't know exactly what the problem is. Happy Hammerette, if you have more inside information, could you let us know? But hopefully there's nothing wrong with Declan Rice, because that would be a massive blow, right, to West Ham's chances of securing a spot in Europe. Because, Nrup, do you think West Ham stand a chance of making it into top 4?
That's a difficult question. I would say no.
Yeah.
You never know.
No.
I still feel like United will bounce back really hard. They will have this period of nice winning streaks, and then they'll be a bit problematic for Arsenal for the top 4 position. And plus, I don't know. And also you have Tottenham. Come on. I know it's Tottenham, but then I like Antonio Conte, and you never know. Heung-min Son. He can always fight back.
Yeah. United will bounce back really hard. I don't agree with this statement, but I like it as an English teacher, yeah? So that's why I decided to put it on the screen anyway. And to bounce back is a lovely phrasal verb, which means after a few disappointing results, or after not performing well, after failing a bit, you start succeeding again, you start playing well again, you bounce back as a football would. on the pitch, perhaps during some wet conditions or whatever. Happy Hammerhead says, all I know is that he has a virus. Hope he will make it. Hope he will make the EL European League game on Thursday. So I just hope he doesn't have the virus we have been describing here throughout this show, called so-called Maguire virus.
There's no worse disease for me.
Yeah. Well, they are both members of the England national team, so hopefully they haven't been in touch with each other in any way, shape, or form.
Slabhead virus.
What's that? Can you explain that to me, Pan? I don't know what that means. Slabhead.
But Harry Maguire is known as Slabhead. A slab is a huge piece of something, a slab of stone.
Okay.
Huge, because he has a huge head. He's known as Slabhead because his head's massive. It's a good one.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, poor Maguire. Noop, I can already see Noop is getting a little bit sad about the Maguire. Noop, do you think there will be a time when, just to practice the phrasal verb you used before, bounce back? Do you think Maguire will be able to bounce back?
I mean, he definitely has a big head, but still he cannot even bounce the ball into the net. So I don't know how will that work. But no, without Maguire, probably, yeah.
I have to tell Leontes about this part of the show.
It's just a joke.
He will love to. He will love to see it.
Come on, it's Daniel. We know when we had Mustafi and I don't know Socrates. I remember how Arsenal was. So
you want me to be traumatized again? Don't mention these names, please. Mustafi, please don't go there.
He's a legend. He's a lurking legend.
You've just made me realize that I actually do like our club now. Like after mentioning all these names, like we don't have such names in the club anymore, right? Because Arteta managed to get rid of all the deadwood, which is a nice expression, deadwood. Yeah, just the players that shouldn't be in the team anymore.
Really nice.
Yeah. Okay, you guys can read more interesting jokes from Happy Hammerhead if you want in the chat about Maguire. So enjoy that. I just to go back to West Ham quickly. They had a lot of chances in that game. Yeah, I think Liverpool were the better side, but they were too sloppy in defense and they gave away good opportunities to West Ham. And if West Ham had been a little bit more clinical, a little bit more patient, and converted the chances they had, then it could have gone either way, to be honest with you. So good on Liverpool that they managed to secure all 3 points they needed if they want to still challenge City. But not so good for West Ham, because in my opinion, the biggest problem at West Ham now is that now it's going to show that their manager, David Moyes, hasn't been rotating the players, and he now has to use some of the players that he hasn't dared to touch, but that they're not going to be match fit. So I don't know how this is ever going to work. I'm sorry, Happy Hammerhead, but I'm a bit skeptical about West Ham at the moment. I wish you all the best, because as you know, West Ham is one of my teams that I support. Noop, you said no chance for West Ham, but can they make top 6? Because I think they would be happy with top 6, to be honest with you. So can they make it?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. I think the battle for 4, 5, 6 would be between Arsenal, Tottenham, United, and Wolves.
Well, but Wolves, they have lost 3 games in a row. I think 3 games. 3 games in a row. It's not good enough, is it?
I know, but you never know. I mean, they're Wolves. They were pretty good this season.
What do you think, Pan? Can West Ham make it?
Basically, I'm just looking at the table now, because you're right about Arsenal having 3 games in hand over Manchester United and West Ham. Spurs have 2 games in hand
Yeah,
as well.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
you kind of need things to even out, because it's a big thing. Like what happens with Arsenal's 3 games in hand? Are they going to have 0 points, 9 points,
Yeah,
something in between? That's going to make a
Exactly.
big difference to what happens. Like
exactly. Yeah, it's a bit.
yeah, who knows? It's in the air. And
it's a-
also at this point, something that becomes useful, or something that comes into it, is the depth of the squad. Like you say, like what players, it's really, we're getting towards the business end of the season. Everyone's tired. Injuries are mounting up. Who has the squad to handle also being in cups, being in Europe? Like,
Well, let's be honest. West Ham United have Sevilla. As much as I would like West Ham to beat Sevilla, I don't think they are the favorites, because Sevilla are a very traditional club, very experienced. They have won this competition in the last few years, maybe 4 times or something like that. Yeah, they had like a hat trick, three times in a row they won it, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this season they're second on the league, and they have the best defense on the league.
Yeah.
So yeah.
They might get knocked out quickly, West Ham. They already got beaten by Southampton in the FA Cup, so that was disappointing. But you also said, yeah, who knows, which kind of applies to everything we are saying here, really. Yeah, who knows? It's in the air. I like that phrase. It's in the air. Yeah, so if it's in the air, it's like it's we don't know. It's uncertain. We don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. All right. Okay, guys, I think that's where we will leave it. Thank you very much for featuring tonight. I think we covered a lot of ground, and well done. Good job for your insight, especially about your teams and all that Maguire banter and so on. I wish you guys all the best. And yeah, until next time.
thank you too.
Next time.
Thanks, Noop. Thanks, Danik.
Okay.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks,
See ya.
viewers, for watching the show. Bye.